Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Marjun G. Palakaw from BSIT 2A, and today I'm going to discuss 2D array 6 by 8 row major table. So, I'm going to discuss now how the code flow or um, how the code run in the program. So first I use so here the this array I use row major. So first I declare uh array integer array which I use a as an array, and here we use 6 by 8, so 6 rows and 8 column. And next I use another variable which is I, j, and k. So this symbol I will use this symbol later for making this program. So first is I'm going to print enter any array value. So here that will going to it will print here this word enter array. So after that I use for loops. So for I is equals to 0, I less than 6, then I plus plus. So here in making this 2D array, I use um, uh, nested nested for loops. So nested for loops, it means I use array inside the array. So out no no I use array in the array. So I use inner array and outer loops and inner loops, outer loops, I mean. So first here, so for I is equals to 0, I less than 6, then I plus plus or increment by 1. So here I is equals to 0. So now I is equals to 0. So I'm going to demonstrate it using an Excel. So here, put it to 0. So I now is equals to 0. So as you can see here, we have 6 rows and 8 column. So like this. So column is like this from up and down, up and down, up and down. So rows is from here, left and right, left and right, left and right. So I now equals to 0. So so I used here the row major. So row major, it means we need it will ask input from here from 0 0 0 1 zero 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07. Then after that, it will ask again from 1 0, 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, 1 4, 1 5, and so on. So, so array, in making this video, so that's why we use here, we count this from 0 to 5 and 1 to 7, since array always starts from 0. In counting array, it always starts from 0, so that's why we used here from 0, like 0 1 2 4 5 6 7. So if we count it as a normal number, so it is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So it is now 8 columns. So 0 1 2 3 4 5. So it is if we count it an array, it will only 5. So if we count it in normal number, it will 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it has 6 rows. So now we have, since we are in the outer loop, so outer loop starts from 0, since I since this I is equals to 0. So then after I is equals to 0, it will go to check I. So now I is equals to 0. So is 0 less than 6? So since true, that will go inside this loop. So I is equals to 0. So here I is equals to 0. Here I is equals to 0. So after inside the loop, so it will now, so inside the loop we have another loop, which is we use another symbol, which is j. So j now is equal to 0. So here, so it will, I'm going to change this symbol. So j plus plus. So j now is equals to 0. So our j plus plus now is 0. So since uh, we need, so after so j is equal to 0, so is 0 less than 8. So since true, since true, since true here, I is equal to 0, it will going to print the ask value, which is here the 0 row and 0 column from this position. So since it is row major, so it is counting out, it will display or ask input value from here to here. Then after that, after we uh after it will exit the loop, and we're going to ask again from 1 0 1 1 1 2 1 3 1 4, and then after that it will exit the loop and go again from here to here, so like this and so on. So here, so after that, so after it will print the value, so we need it will print from 0 0, which is here. We need to input, since we use scanf. So scanf from array I and j. So it will, we need to input value from here. So in this position we need to input a value. So it will depend on us on what number we input on that position. So later I will put that value in there. So now j now, so after we put value, it will go again here in the inside loop. So in the inner loop, it will go again inside in the inner loop. So j plus plus, or increment, it will increment by 1. So j plus plus. So j now, so here j is equal to 0. So j now will become 1, since it is incremented by 1. So it will become 1 here. So I is equal to 0. So since the inner loop will always we cannot have we cannot go back in the outer loop until the inner loop will become negative or will become false. So if the inner loop is positive, the cycle or the inside loop will always being cycled from back. It will recycle until it will become false and exit the loop. So here, so here, so j now will become 1, since it will incremented by 1. So it is plus 1. So j now will become 1. Then here, so 0. So row is always a 0. So we put here row, and here as column. So here, so row 1, row 0, and column 1. So we need to find this position. So here we have, so I now will become 1. So is 1 less than 6? So since true, it will go again. Oh, no. Here. So j now will become 1. So is 1 less than 8? So since true, it will print again the value from here, which is row 0 and column 1. So here, and we need to input value since we use scanf. So what we did in row 0 on column 0. So after we input value, it will go back again in the inner loop, which is j now will become, so it will incremented again by 1. So it will incremented by 1. So j plus plus, so j now will become 1 plus 1, so it will become 2. So 0, so row, since row is 0, so column now will become 2. So be here in this position, uh so here in this position, which is 0 2. So here now we come j is equals to 2. So in this position, it will print this array. It will, or this position on what we need to, on what position we input the value. So it is just a k, or uh, assign that this, so that on this sign we need to put a value. So using scanf, so we put a value. So after we input the value, it will go back again inside the loop. So here, so Jenna will become 3. Here will become 3. So as you can see, after that, after become 3, so it will go ask again. So is 3 less than 8? So since true, so again it will print the array which is in this position, which is from row 0 and column 3, and then we input a value from that position. So after that, it will go back again and then loop and ask again until we reach from here. So up until we reach, so let's give an example. So now we reach, for example, we reach 7. So row 0 and column 7. So now we're here in this position. So we are, so now will become 7. So here this position, wait, I'm going to put circle. So in the no, in this position here, in this position. So after that, after we input the value, it will go j plus plus. So j plus plus, j will become 8. J now will become 8 here. So after j plus plus, j now will become 8 and go back again in the inner loop. So is 8 less than 8? So since false, so now that will become false. So after we input the value from here to here, or after we put the value from zeros, from row 0 column 0 to row 0 and column 7. So if the inner loop will become negative, so the next array will become from 1011. So since it will exit from the first loop, so here it, now it will exit the loop. So since 8 is not less than 8, so it will exit. I'm going to put sign. So here, after will become negative. After will become negative, it will go back again here. It will go back again in this loop. So I now so I plus plus. So I plus plus. So I now will become 1 and column will become 0. So after I plus plus, so after I plus plus, so is 1 is less than 6. So since true, it will go back again inside the loop. So uh since it will go back again, so for here, after here, so it will exit again, so it will go back again inside the loop and make another loop. So for us to, for j is equals to 0, j is less than 8, j plus plus. So now j will become 0. So it will go back again to 0 since since the loop was restarted, or since it will exit the loop and go back again. So now j plus, so column I will become 0, and so is 0 less than 8. So since true, again it will print the value. It will show the printed 1 row and 0 column. So since it exit here, it exit here, it exit in this position. So after it exit, it will go back in the row 1 and column 0. So after that, we input a value from that position. It always depend on us on what value we will input in that position. So, now after we input the value, it will go back again in the inside. It will go back again in the inside loop again. It will go back again in the inside loop. So, so uh, column now will become 1 and go back here and print the value which is from 1 and 1. So since the next is column now will incremented by 1, so column will now become 1. So since it was incremented by 1, it will become 1. So like before it is 0, so by incremented by 1 will become 1. So 0 plus 1, so it was because 1. It will always equals to 1. So now we it will print here or the sign that the value we input was put in there. So scanf. So put the value. So after we put the value, it will go back again in the inside loop. So here j now will become so j plus plus, so j now will become 2, 2, and so on. So how now? So let's say column now will become 7, 7. So j plus plus. So again, let's say j plus plus. So j plus plus will become now 8. So j plus plus after j plus plus. So 7, 7 uh, plus 1. So here 7 plus 1 will become 8. So here is 8 less than 8. So since false, it will go back again. It will go back again in the outside loop. So now it will go back again to the outside loops since the inner loop will result as false. So it will go back again to the outside loop. So now I plus plus. So I plus plus again. So I now will become 2 and go back again to the loop, to the inside loop, which is j will become now a 0. So j now will become 0 here. Then j plus so now here this position, so we're now in the column 2, which is 2. So since j now, or the column sign is 0, so here in this position, so we're now here. So again it will go again. So after we put, so it will print the value of here from the 2 0, since we are now in row 2 here, like this, row 2 and the column 0. So as you can see, row 2, column 0. So here in this position, so again it will always repeat the sign, which is the 2 0, and we need to input a value in that position. So after that, j plus plus again, so j now will become 1. So it will print it will ask this position, which is the 2 1, and put the value. So j plus plus again, so j now will become 2. So in this position, in this position, so 2, so 2, it will show this, which is it will show the array, row 2 and column 2, and we put a value in that position. Then again j plus plus, j incremented, so j will become 3, and so on until we reach here from the column, our row 5, here from row 5. So let's say we are now in the row 5 and the column. So here, column 5, so it's 5 less than 6. So since it's true, it will go back in the inside loop. So for here, for so is 5 less than 6. So since true, it will go inside the loop. So j is equals to 0. So, so then this in this position here, in this position, in this position, oh, in this position, then uh, it will show this row 5, then column 0, then we need to put a value in that position again, then again j plus plus until we reach this row 5 and column 7. So let's say we're down the column 5 and we reach from the column 7. So column 7, so j plus plus. So j now will become 8. So let's say it will 8. So we're now in the so after j plus plus, it will go back here again. It will go back here to ask if it is true or false. So is 8 less than 8? So since false, it will go back here. It will go back outside the loop. So after it will become false. After here, after we're done, and since it is false, it is false. So it will exit the inner loop and go back to the outer loop, which is here, which is the first for loops, which is I, for the symbol of I. So now, so then now, so now it is incremented. So since it exit the loop, so j now, our row I, also I mean I incremented by 1, so I is equals to 6. So is 6. So here it asks again. So I now is equals to 6. So I is 6 less than 6. So since false, it will exit the loop. So it will exit the loop here. Here, so it will exit the loop. And here it will go back next to display the array values. So to display the array values, uh, same as what happened here, we use another for loops, which is nested for loops. So here, so same as what happened here. So in this code here, we need in this code, so we will display on what we input, or on what we did earlier. So here again display, so declare another variable which is for I is equal to 6, then in the inner loop for j is equal to 0. So here same as what we do. So for I is equals to 0, then I is equals to 0. So I is equal to 0 now. So is I less than 6? So since true, it will go inside the loop. So j is equal to 0, then j, so is 0 less than 8? So since true, so now it is true. It will go inside the loop and print backslash t. So it means backslash t. It means a tab, or as, yes, a tab. So here, after that, after tab, it will print this value, which is the printed, or the first what we input on this position, which is from row 0 and column 0. So it will print the value, which is %d, the 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 value we put on this position. So it will print the value. So after that, it will after that we put after exit. So after it will print backslash s, backslash n, which is the length of space. So it will add space. So again, it will go inside the loop. So for j now, so j now, so j is equals to 0. So same as usual. We put I, I now is 0, then j plus plus, which is symbol j plus plus. So j now will become 1, and so since I 0 here, which is the I is equals to 0, then here row is 1. So we use this as in this position as j, our I, this is I, and this is j. So j plus plus to j now will become 1, and we'll print the value. So since j, or the value of 1, is less than 8, so it will print again backslash t. So it will never show backslash t since it is designed for C language. So it will print the %d, which is in this position from 0 and 1. So after it print, it will add space, and then here using printf backslash n, then after j plus plus again, j incremented by 1, so j now will become 2 here. So again it will print the value from here. So as an simple or faster explanation, it will become it will print the value from 0, 1 to 0, 7. Then after that, it will exit, since it will exit the inner loop and go back again to the outer loop. So is incremented by 1, which is I is incremented by 1. So it will become 1 now, and go back to the j, which is started as 0. So after that, so after we exit from here, so from here to here to here, so after that it will exit, and again it will print here the next value. So as a simple, we use here as from here, from 0, from row 0 to column 7. Then after that, it will print again the row 1 to column 7, and so on row 2, column 7, here row 3, column 7, row 4, column 7, and row 5, column 7. So here, as you can see, row 5 and column 7. So after that, so let's say we are now in I5. So the inner array, the oh no, the outer array will 5. Then j, the inner array will is 7. So here, so j plus plus, so j now is 7. So j plus plus, so j now will become 8. So here, as you can see, so is 8 less than 8? So since false, so again, like what we did earlier, oh, so here, like what we did, oh, where's that? Like what we did here, it will now become so is 8 less than 8. So since, so is j now is 8, so is 8 less than 8. So since false, it will now exit the loop, and this value, so after it exit, so I now will I plus plus. So I now, so let's say I, so let's put this I plus plus. So I now will plus 1. So I is incremented by 1. So since the I value is already 5, so it's incremented by 1, so it will become 6. So go back here. So is I with the value of 6 is less than 6? So false. So since false, it will print this printf, or the print which is here, the row, column, or row, column, and value that I used. So after that, we declare another array. or another loop, which is which here is used design for showing the matrix array. So now in this in this array, so now we will see here on what is matrix array. So matrix array, it means printing non-zero values. So if we input 0, it will never print since it is an empty, and this array always print the array which have the value of number 0 to 9, or 1 above. So if we input 0, it will never print since that is a 0. So it will this array will show a non-zero value. So here, to show, I put this printf. So another nested for loop. So for I is equals to 0, again. Oh wait, I'm, my code was broken. So here, so for I is equals to 0, so here again, same as what we did earlier. So I show you. I put this I plus plus, then I, oh, then j plus plus, like that. So let's say we're now here. So we're here. So declare another loop, which is I is equal to 0. So I is equal to 0. So is I, which the value of 0 is less than 6. So since 0 is less than 6, so it will go inside this loop, or inside this inner loop, and I declare another loop with the symbol of j. So j now is 0. So let's say j is 0. So it's 0 less than 8. So since true, so I use this k is equals to array I and j to print this I. It means, so I, it means here the first row, and next is the j. It means uh, column. So if k is not equal to 0, it will print the value which is from this first percent %d is used for row, and the next is percent %d is column, and the next percent %d is the value. Since we use here since we use another formula and declare, so if k is not equal to 0, so if k is not equal to 0, it will print this this row, column, and value. So if k is equal to 0, so it will never uh print the value since it is 0. So here, what happened? So k is equals to 0, k is equals to I j. So here, like what we did, so I 0. So after we input here, so j is equals to 0 now. So after j, so it will go back again and print this value. So if k, so if the value we input on this position, which is 0, I 0, or the row 0 and column 0 here. So if we input value that are non-zero, it will print the value since we use here if k is equals, if not equals to 0. So if we input the input value 0, it will never print since it is 0. So are we clear? So now again, after we input value, after we are done, it will go back again here in the inner loop and ask again. So So j now will become 1, and this print a value again. If we input another value that are non-zero, so it will print. So after again, it will increment to 1. Then so like we did 2. So 2. So if we input in this position 0 and 2, which is from row 0 and column 2. So if we input value, so if k is not equal to, if we input 0 value, it will never print. So since it is, so it will never print. So since it is false, it will never print, and it will go back. It will go back again to the inner loop. So like uh like if we input 0, it will never print. Since we use this value, so after we it will result as 0. It will never print, and it will go back again in the inner loop. So again plus 1 incremented by 1. So j now from here, so it will go until we reach from 5 and 7. So let's say we're now in the 5 rows and 6 column here. So incremented by 1. So j plus plus, so j now will become 7. So let's say 7. So is 7 less than 8? So since it's true, uh it will show here. So if we input the value from here, 5 and 7. So if we input value that are non-zero or not zero, it will print the value that we input on that position. So if we input 0, it will never print, and it will go back again to the outside loop. So here, it will go back here from the outside loop here. So j now will become 8. So is 8 less than 8? So since it's false, it will go back again to the j. So it will go back again to the j. So I know. So I don't know. I mean, so from j it will go back again to I. So I now is 5. So I plus plus is incremented by 1. So I now will become 6. So here, as you can see, so this it has a maximum value of 6. So is I that is equal to 6. So is 6 less than 6? So since it's false, uh, it will exit the loop. So here, it will exit the loop, and it is the ending of the 6 by 8 row major table. So that's all. Thank you for listening, and thank you. So here, this is my example. So here, it is from row here we count this as here it is